So, good morning everyone. My name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS, and since it was weekend, so we will be covering weekend's newspaper as well as we will be covering today's newspaper, that is Mondays. Okay, so let's start with the Indian Express and we will be seeing certain important topics like you can say fate of one nation, one poll. You know that earlier when BJP was talking about one nation, one poll, there was a different situation because BJP was in majority. But now when we talk about the current government, that is basically a coalition government, so we'll be talking about the fate of one nation, one poll. Then we'll also talk about the Port Blair, which has been changed, or you can say the name of the Port Blair has been changed to Sri Vijaya. So we will be talking about that. And there is this one article which is there for your own read, which is talking about the, you can say, connection of Port Blair with the Chola history. Okay, so that becomes little bit of static part, so you can go through that. Then pink bollworm attack. Okay, so when we are talking about the cotton, this pink bollworm is a problem. It is one kind of a pest. Okay, so we'll be talking about that. Other than that, we will go through 3-4 important articles which were there. Okay, so we'll start with the practice question and then we'll move to the fact of the day, know our constitution session, and then we'll be discussing our regular topics. Okay, if you look at the front page of the newspaper, here you'll be seeing will resign as CM after 2 days going for Agni Pariksha, says Kejriwal. You know that Kejriwal has got the bail, and after getting the bail, but there are certain restrictions which was put over there, that he cannot function from the CM office and he can only sign those you can say files which is necessarily. Okay, so basically considering that now opposition is asking for the resignation, and he has said that I will be giving resignation in 2 days. We will be seeing that what will happen after the resignation, because they are asking for the re-elections. Okay, so that is something which is there. We will be seeing here. They have almost discussed all the political angles over here, how it will impact the Aam Aadmi Party, who will become the next CM, etc. All these things, but that is not necessary for our exams point of view. So we will not go into details of this particular article. Just know that Delhi CM is going to resign in 2 days. That is what he has said. Then one nation, one poll in this term, coalition won't stall the reforms. Okay, so here they have said that they will be going for the one nation, one poll. The government has said that. We will be talking about this particular article over here. So when we talk about the first 100 days of the government, so you know that this government has this 100 days agendas, etc. So this time one agenda is one nation, one poll. Other than that, there is infrastructure building, there are certain schemes which were there. So anyways, let's move further and start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Who commissioned the construction of Sanchi Stupa? You know that Sanchi is related to Buddhism. We have talked about this particular you can say stupa. It was in news because the east gate of this particular stupa, or you can say the replica of east gate, was placed in Berlin, and our external affairs minister was there and he has visited that particular replica. Okay, so that is there. So who commissioned the construction? So commission was constructed by the Emperor Ashoka. There are various timelines in the history wherein there was various kind of construction which has happened. When we talk about the stupa or the dome structure which was commissioned by the Emperor Ashoka, then when we talk about the Toran, etc., they were actually added later. Okay, so that is there. In the times of Guptas and even in the times of Satavahanas, there was these you can say certain structure which has been built over there. Mostly the Toran, etc., are you can say added later. Okay, so that is there. Now we can move further to the next one, that is talking about the fact of the day. These are certain facts which can be asked to you directly for in your prelims, or you can mention these facts in the mains examination. So let's talk about today's facts. That is, the only active volcano in India is the Barren Island and is present in the Andaman Islands. Okay, so India has one active volcano, that is Barren Island. Okay, so you will remember that. Location is Andaman Islands. You know that we have Andaman and Nicobar group of island, and wherein that is divided in Andaman and Nicobar. We will be talking about this today, because since Port Blair's name has been changed, so we will be talking about that as well. Okay, then Baratang in Andaman is the only place in India with a mud volcanoes. Okay, so that is another fact which you can remember, that is Baratang in Andaman, that is having mud volcanoes. Okay, again this is specific because this is the only place in India which is having such volcano. Okay, now moving further, and starting with the know our constitution, which we were on the part 6, that is state government. We have discussed the governor yesterday in the last lecture. Now today we will be discussing the difference between president and the governor. Okay, though these are not directly given in the constitutions, but since these are important, so I have taken this liberty to discuss that. Now talking about the president and governor, so here you will be seeing, when we talk about the role, you know that when we talk about president, president is the head of the you can say state. When we are talking that head of the state, that means that we are talking about India over here. In the international politics, you will be seeing that the state word is used for the countries. Okay, so head of the state and supreme commander of the armed forces. When we talk about governor, he is the head of the state, that is the federal state. Like when we talk about Rajasthan, Gujarat, this etc. So that is you can say that is head of the federal units. Okay, so that is there. And in India, we know that one governor can be there for more than one state. So that is also a provision. Moving further, appointment, if we talk about, president is appointed by an electoral college. You know that we have an electoral college wherein president will be you can say selected by the voting, wherein electoral college will be of MPs, elected MPs plus MLAs. Okay, so that is there. When we talk about governor, governor's appointment is direct, and that is why it is said that it is the representative of union government in the states. Okay, so that appointment is made by president. We know that. Now coming to the term, when we talk about, that is 5 years, and here most of the time it is 5 years, but it is dependent on the president's pleasure. Okay, so that is there. So it can be reappointed or removed earlier by the president. Okay. Moving further, powers, if we talk about, so there are certain executive, legislative, judicial and the emergency powers, which we have already discussed in the case of president. Similarly, we have discussed in the case of governor as well. Moving further, executive powers, if we talk about, I told you that all the decision of the union government will be taken in the name of the president, and he also appoints the prime minister and oversees the central government. Okay. When we talk about the governor, governor appoints the CM, chief minister, and the other minister on the advice of the CM and oversees the state government. Okay. Moving further, if you see here, when we talk about the legislative powers, so we have seen that president can summon the parliament, president has to give the assent. Similarly, governor has to summon the state assembly and he has to give to the assent to the state bills. Okay. Now judicial power, we have seen that president has power to grant pardon, reprise, respite, remit of the punishment. Okay. Now there is one difference over here, so which you can say, remember, governor has no judicial power but act on the advice of the state government, that is there. Okay. Other than that, when we talk about the pardoning powers, okay, so here governor has the pardoning power, and again he will be you can say acting on the advice of the state government. But when we talk about the pardon of the death penalty, okay, so in the case of death penalty, governor does not have such powers. Okay, so please remember that. I might have missed over here, but remember that when we talk about the pardoning power, in that particularly to acquit a person from the death penalty, that is power is not with the governor, that is with the, you can say, president. Now emergency powers, if we talk about, he can declare national emergency, state emergency, financial emergency. But when we talk about the governor, governor can recommend to the president about the president's rule in a particular state. Okay. Now residuary power, if we talk about residency, that is Rashtrapati Bhavan. When we talk about the you can say residency of the governor, that is Raj Bhavan in every state. Then responsibilities, so we have already discussed all these things. Okay, so I hope that is clear. The difference between, the most important difference if we see over here, that is related to the first of all, there is this when we talk about the giving assent to the bill, governor has a special power that he can reserve a bill for the president's consideration. Okay, so that is one special power which is there with respect to the legislative powers. Okay, appointment difference is there, as I told you, there is an election. Okay, indirect election with the proportional representation, single transferable vote. Here this appointment is made directly. When we talk about the power, we have discussed, and when we talk about the next thing, that is basically your pardoning power, that is one thing which is different, because in the death case of death penalty, governor does not have that kind of power. Okay, other than that, one more thing, when we talk about the court martials, okay, when we talk about the military courts, etc., in that cases the you can say president might have power with respect to the pardons, etc., governor does not. Okay, so that is there. Now we can move further to the next, that is our article of the day, which we will be discussing today. Okay, Now here you can see one nation, one poll. In this term, coalition won't stall the reforms. Okay, as I told you, there is one challenge this time, because when we are talking about the, you can say, NDA government's way of functioning, that was quite, you can say, uh, that was, you can say, little bit of you can say fast decision making etc was there when we talk about the abrogation of 370 etc. So it has happened overnight, demonetization, all these things has happened. Okay, but when we are talking about this one nation, one election, one poll, which is to happen, you can say, or which they are trying to make it work, but this time there is a problem that most of the time when they took decision, they had the majority government. But when we talk about the recent government, that is basically a coalition government. Okay, so in coalition government, you have to make sure that all the parties are on same page. Okay, with respect to that, they have said that yes, they will try to go for it, and there will be, the coalition won't stall the reforms. Okay, so that was there. In this article, we will be focusing more on the one nation, one election, or one nation, one poll. We will not go into the political angle of it. Second thing is, there are other agendas which are also there. When we talk about the 100 days of NDA third term, so one is one nation, one poll. Second is infrastructure. There are some certain areas, that is defense, space, external, and the home affairs, education, digital India, and making India a manufacturing hub, spending 11 lakh crore annually on building infrastructure. Mahila, Yuva, Garib, Kisan, these are the forecast which was identified by the Prime Minister. So these are certain things on which they will be working in the next 100 days. Okay. Now moving further and seeing what is one nation, one election. Okay. Now here you can see the concept of one nation, one election envisioned in a system in which all states Lok Sabha elections must be held simultaneously. When we talk about the state assembly elections plus the Lok Sabha elections, they will be happening at one time. Okay, this will entail restructuring the Indian election cycle so that the election to the states and the entire center coincides. This would imply that the voters will vote for the member of the Lok Sabha State Assembly on the same day, on the same time, okay, or in a phased manner, as the case may be, which will be decided by the election commission, or there is a high level committee. There is a high level committee headed by the you can say the former president Ramnath Kovind, okay, and they have actually submitted a report regarding that. So this is something which you can say, when we talk about the one nation one election, that is simple way. All the state assemblies election and the Lok Sabha election will happen one day. When a person is going for the casting vote, he will be casting vote for the Lok Sabha as well as the state assemblies. Okay, so that is there. Now let's talk about the, you can say, commitment of this particular government to the one nation one election. This is not the first time that they are advocating this. Okay, in the past terms as well as when we talk about the, you can say, initial you can say elections which has happened actually in this particular form only. When we talk about the election of 1951, okay, so that election, and then afterward whatever election has happened, okay, so all these elections has happened in this particular way. 1951 52 election, that is one. After that 57, 1962 and 1967, these elections has happened in this particular way, that you can say the voters has gone for voting on the same day. So these were the simultaneous election which has happened. After that, what happened in that in 1967 there was this government, which government actually collapsed, okay, and because of which this cycle has gone out of the sync. Okay, after that also, you know, that there are national emergencies, and then we have seen that there was this coalition government, there was this regional parties which were rising, because of which there was various time when the state you can say state governments has collapsed, or you can say there was this president's rule which was imposed in the states. So considering all these things, they have gone out of the sync. Now this government has a commitment to, you know, start this you can say simultaneous elections process again. Okay, let's see. Synchronizes election for the Lok Sabha, state legislative assemblies and local bodies. Okay, so that is the objective. When we talk about the NDA government is determined to implement this during the current term despite being in the minority. Okay, so despite being in the minority, they are, you can say, pursuing it to go for it. Then Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been advocating since 2014 about the single, you can say, one nation one election. High level committee, as I told you, there was this high level committee which was actually you can say presided by our former president Ram Nath Kovind. Okay, so they have recommended simultaneous election for the Lok Sabha and state assemblies first, followed by the local body elections within 100 days. So, first they will go for the, you can say, Lok Sabha and state assemblies elections, and then after 100 days they will be going for the local body elections. You know that we have 3-tier government, that is, one government is a center, second government is state government, then we have a local administration as well, that is panchayat and municipalities. Okay, so we have a 3-tier government system. Then moving further, constitutional requirement. Now to bring such a change in the constitution or bring such a change in the election process, you know that elections are a federal feature. Okay, and since it is a federal feature, so if you have to made any kind of amendment to the constitution, in that case you have to go for the special majority first, special majority of the house, both houses. Okay, so that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and that is to be attained separately. So that means that there cannot be any joint session. Plus you have to go for the ratification by the 50% of the states. Their ratification will be required because this is a change in the federal feature, and that is why this is required over here. Okay, so that is the constitutional mandate which will be required to bring such a change. Okay, now moving further, we will be seeing what are the advantages and what are the challenges. Okay, so this way you will be able to write an answer on the one nation one election. Now reducing the governance distraction. Now when you go for the election differently, let's say in 2009 2024 you had a Lok Sabha election, 2024 after some time you are having state assembly election in Jammu and Kashmir, and then you are having it in Haryana. Okay, after that in 2025 you will be having in some other state, 26 some other state. That means that most of the time the government or the political parties will be in the mood of campaigning, so they will be focusing more on election, they will be focusing more on winning the election than on the governance part. Okay, so there will be various distraction with respect to the governance, so you will not be able to focus on the governance. That is one thing. Second thing is impact of the model code of conduct. When there is a model code of conduct which is there in the implication, or the you can say there is this imposition of the model code of conduct, then there are implication of such model code of conduct. What happens is that there are certain activities which will not be the government will not be able to do such activities, that is going for announcement of the new schemes or any big decision cannot be made. So all such things will be happening over there. Then addressing the political corruption. Now if you are going for the elections again and again, you know that there are certain you can say horse trading etc which happens. Okay, now if you are having it once 5 year, that means that will happen one time only. Obviously that should not happen, but again this is something practical things which are happening. Okay, so politicians try to sway the other politicians. Okay, so even if money is not involved, then also you can say they will have some kind of influence, they will try to have some kind of influence over there. Okay, so that will happen, that political corruption, if you want to address it, then you have to give less and less opportunity to them. So if elections are happening one time, so that is one thing. When we talk about moral code of conduct, as I told you, that will be imposed one time in a 5 years, so after that government can take decisions. Then cost saving and electoral infrastructures. Okay, so now when we talk about the infrastructure, you know that various forces, security forces are deployed when we talk about the elections. Okay, so if these deployment are happening again and again, that means that they will not be able to focus on their training. Okay, when we talk about the security forces, there is a peace time, when in the peace time they are going for various exercises, various training, so that they will be ready in the case of need. Okay, but since these things are happening, they will not be able to focus on that thing. That is one thing. Second is cost saving. Every year if there are elections in the states, then you have to go for the deployment cost etc. Other than that, the cost of election itself is huge. Okay, then citizens convenience, citizens has to go for election again and again. Okay, so they will also be in the political mood, so that is also there. If otherwise there will be votes in the once in the 5 year, and then after that citizens can also focus on the reviewing the government. Then optimizing law enforcement resources, as I told you, these forces are deployed. Okay, so that is there. Curbing the horse trading, which we have discussed in the political corruption. Financial stability for the state governance. Okay, so these are certain advantages if you go for the one nation one election. Okay, Now, if you look at the challenges, what are the challenges? One is the constitutional concern. As I told you, this is a federal feature, so having everyone on board is necessary. Okay, so that is thing. Other than that, getting such majority is second issue. When we are talking about the coalition government, it is moreover a different or difficult issue. Then mid tenure collapse. Now, what will happen that you have gone for this one election in 2029, okay, and after let's say 2031 there was this state government which collapsed, okay, or there was this president rule which has been imposed. In such conditions, what will you do? What will be the next, you can say, step? So that is one challenge. Logistical challenges, when we talk about implementing elections throughout the country in one time, how will you manage the logistics, how will you manage the infrastructure? Okay, so that is another issue. Cost implications and the economic consideration, obviously that is a tremendous task to you can say attain in a one go. Then infrastructure related challenges, okay, manpower related challenges, EVM related challenges. We don't have that much EVM to go for elections, in a one go. All these, you can say, issues are there with respect to the, you can say, implementation challenges. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next article, which is talking about the Port Blair's now Sri Vijayapuram. Okay, now when we talk about the Port Blair, the name has been changed to Sri Vijayapuram. Okay, now when we talk about Sri Vijayapuram, so this is basically you can say ancient, you can say kingdom was there. Okay, so now we are going back to the legacy, and this is what has been done by the, you can say, home ministry, announced by the home minister, saying that we are trying to do away with the, you can say, slave mentalities. Okay, this Port Blair name was given by the Britishers. Okay, so that is why we are trying to do away with such things. Okay, now the center on Friday renamed Port Blair, the capital of Andaman and Nicobar Island, as Sri Vijayapuram. Okay, so that is one thing. So please remember the name Sri Vijayapuram. Moving further, the decision was taken as a part of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision to get rid of the rid the country of the all symbol of slaveries. Okay, so that is there. Rid the country of all the symbols of the slavery. Andaman and Nicobar Island has an unparalleled place in the India's freedom struggle. You know that there was this Kalapani jail, or you can say cellular jail, which was there. Okay, so various of our leaders has actually spent time over there. Okay, other than that, also when we talk about the Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, he has you can say hosted the tricolor there at, you can say, for the first time. Okay, so VD Savarkar has spent years in the cellular jail in the Andaman, and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose hosted the tricolor on this particular island. Okay, so there is this history which is attached with respect to this island. Other than that, also if you look at this island, this is strategically important for us. We have discussed that various times. Now Sri Vijayapuram reflects our struggle for the freedom and the contribution of the Andaman and Nicobar in it, and that is why they have given this particular name. This island, which played the role of naval base in Chola Empire. Now this is very important. If we talk about the, you can say, ancient marine navies, etc., Chola was one of the empire which has its own navy, and it was considered to be the greatest one. Okay, so that is why this particular you can say fact over here is very much important, that Cholas has their own navy, naval power, and Andaman and Nicobar was such base. Okay, here you can say it is important from security and development point of view in today's India as well. When we talk about this particular area, you know that this is on a important you can say trade route. Okay, the trade from the Malacca Strait is going through this particular area, so that is why from the development point of view as well as from the securities point of view, this area, we know that it is a tri-service command. When we talk about you can say Andaman and Nicobar, it is a tri-service command which is there. All the three services are present over here. Okay, now that is why from the securities angle as well, the Andaman and Nicobar becomes important. Now Port Blair was the name which was given after the Archibald Blair, okay, a British naval surveyor and the lieutenant in the Bombay Marine, who was the first officer to carry out a thorough survey of the Andaman Islands in late 1770s. Okay, so 1770s he has gone for some kind of survey over here, and because of which the Britishers has given this name, that is Port Blair. Okay. Then moving further, Sri Vijaya was the name of the empire that that had its base in the Sumatra. Now, when we talk about the Srivijaya Empire, okay, as I told you, this was Andaman earlier was the part of the Srivijaya, and the Srivijaya was basically having this base from the Sumatra. Okay, so this empire had its base in Sumatra, which influenced across the Southeast Asia. Okay, so there was this base which was there, and it was also instrumental in expansion of the Buddhism. The empire was said to have declined around the 11th century AD after a series of naval raids by the Cholas on its ports. Okay. So when we talk about the Srivijaya Empire, that is basically having a base in Sumatra, and it was important in the Southeast Asia. And after Cholas raids, various times Cholas has actually raided this particular you can say islands and after that there was this you can say decline of this particular empire over there. Okay, strategic naval base by the 11th century Chola Emperor Rajendra I to carry out attack on the Srivijaya, and in that particular attack, you can say the Andaman was a important base for Cholas. Okay, so that is why now they have actually changed the name to, you can say, basically Sri Vijayapuram. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now we can move further, looking at the location of Andaman and Nicobar. What we have seen that it was one such fact which was there, that we are going to change the name from the Port Blair to, you can say, Sri Vijayapuram. Now, why Andaman and Nicobar is important for us, where it is situated, you can say this is Bay of Bengal. In Bay of Bengal, India has the group of islands. This is an archipelago over here, okay, and this has been divided into two, that is Andaman group and then Nicobar group. Okay, if you look at the north of 10-degree channel, now 10-degree channel is the one which is dividing the Andaman and Nicobar. So please keep a note on that and please remember that, okay, because this is a fact which can be asked from you. Now look at the northern part. If we go north to the, you can say, 10-degree channel, you will be seeing that Andaman group islands are there, and that are again divided into various islands. Okay, so here you can see, first you have North Andaman over here, then you have Middle Andaman which is over here, then you have Lower Andaman which is there, and in the end you have the Little Andaman. Okay, so these are the Andaman groups, and then in the south of the 10-degree channel you will be seeing that there is this Car Nicobar. Okay, then these are the group which is basically, you can say, the Middle Nicobar, and then we have the Little Nicobar over here, this small one, and then we have the Great Nicobar. Okay, now Great Nicobar has been in news. Great Nicobar group of island has been in news because this was there was this project, that is Great Nicobar project, wherein you are going for the, you can say, transshipment, you can say terminal points over there. Other than that, we are going for the making an you can say airport over there, and we are also planning a township over there. So all these things are happening in the Great Nicobar, and there are certain environmental you can say concerns with respect to this particular project, and that is why the Great Nicobar island has been in news. Okay, so there are certain facts which you have to remember, that we have Andaman and Nicobar group of island. In the north of the 10-degree channel we have Andaman, in the south we have Nicobar, and they are further divided. Great Nicobar is the one which is in the news. Other than that, there are various tribes which are living over here, like Andamanese, Sentinelese, Ongs. Okay, so these are the tribes which are living over here, even Nicobaris. Okay, other than that, if you look at the Great Nicobar looks something like this. Okay, something like this, and you can say in the southernmost point of the, you can say, Great Nicobar is basically your Indira Point. Okay, so when we talk about the southernmost point of the Indian territory, that is basically your Indira Point. When we talk about the southernmost point of the India mainland, that is basically your Kanyakumari. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next article, that is talking about the pink bollworm attack in Haryana. And because of this particular attack, what is happening is that the farmers in Haryana, they are shifting from the cotton to other crops. Okay, they are shifting to paddy. Or you can say, when we talk about shifting from cotton to paddy, again paddy requires a lot of water. Now these areas, the Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, these are not very much you can say climatically suitable for the you can say paddy crop, because paddy require a lot of water, and Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, they do not have that kind of water. Okay, and because of the green revolution, already when we have seen that in the Punjab and Haryana, they have already overutilized the groundwater, and now there is a problem of groundwater you can say scarcity. Other than that, groundwater pollution as well. Okay, now considering all these things, if they are switching from cotton to paddy, that will have even more disastrous result. Okay, so that is why this article was there, and we will be seeing about this article. Now when we talk about this pink bollworm, what is this? This is one kind of, you can say, pest which is there, and which is basically, when we talk about the cotton the crop, so what they will do is that they will try to make it hollow from inside. Okay, so that is having some problem with you can say pink bollworm, and that is why farmers are shifting to the other crops. Here you can say pink bollworm, that is PBW infestation has had a significant impact on the cotton cultivation in Haryana, Rajasthan and Punjab, leading many farmers to switch to paddy despite the challenges which it presents. Okay, so what are the challenges? We have seen that is related to the water and the pollution. Okay, so that is one thing. Now this is the news. Now let's see what is happening, what are the, you can say, why this particular cotton decline is there and what is the extent of that. The area under the cotton cultivation in Haryana has fallen in the current Kharif season. The trend is mirrored in Rajasthan and Punjab as well. As by why? Because of the infection, that is PBW worm has actually you can say started. Now when we talk about these larvas, PBW, pink bollworm larvas, damages the cotton balls, reducing the quantity and the quality of the harvest. Okay, when we talk about the cotton, you know that on the plant they will be found in the form of these balls. Okay, and they will try to, you can say, these larvas are infecting them and try to make it either hollow, or what will happen is that they will shrink their size. Okay, so that is there, and because of which the quantity and the quality of the harvest will reduce. The pest has been spreading in the North India since 2017-18 and has worsened in the recent years. The cotton prices has dropped significantly, making it less economically viable for the farmers, from 11,100 200 to now it is around 6,700 800. Okay, so almost you can say that they are, you know, little bit more than the half. Okay, which is there. Now if we talk about the pink bollworm first, here you can say it was first appeared in 2017-18 in the few districts of Haryana and Punjab, primarily cultivating BT cotton. Okay, BT cotton, you know that this is the hybrid variety. Okay, this is a genetically modified crop, GM crop, which is there. When we talk about India, this is the only you can say GM crop which is there for the cultivation. Okay, and this is also because this is a non-edible crop. You know that there is this another crop, that is BT brinjal, but cultivation is not started yet. Okay, there is this genetical engineering appraisal committee which is deciding on the, you can say, going for the cultivation, etc. So right now if we talk about India, there is only BT cotton whose commercial cultivation we are doing. Okay, so that is there. Here you can see PWB primarily spread through the air, residue of the infected crops often left by the farmers on the field to be used as fuel can also harbor PBW larva. Infected cotton seeds are another reason behind the spread. So basically what is happening here, from air they can also go for the infection. That is one thing. Second thing is, whenever they are going for the harvest of the infected crops, and they will put it you know, on the sides of the farms, etc., to use at the you know, food, or the, you can say, fuel for the, you can say, cattle, etc. So in that case also that will spread. Second thing is, if you are using the infected seeds, obviously the next harvest will be infected. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now we can move further. What are the issue with respect to this? You can say whatever they are doing, they are shifting from, farmers are shifting from cotton to paddy. Now this is a issue because if they are going for the cultivation of paddy, there is water and the environmental concerns. Let's see, paddy requires more water, making it problematic for the Haryana's arid regions where water scarcity is a concern. Then groundwater in Sirsa is saline and polluted. Now this is the pollution related problem. Okay, implicating paddy irrigation and the raising long term soil health issues. Okay, so that is one thing. Soil health issues are there, water related issues are there, environment related issues are there. Okay, Haryana offers a financial incentives to the farmer to switch to less water incentive crops or adopt direct seeding method for the paddy. As I told you, there are, when we talk about the paddy, there are generally what they do is that they grow it in the nursery. Okay, and then they will be planting the saplings in the farm, and the farm will be flooded with water for some time. Now because of which there is a greenhouse gas emission related issues also there. Okay, methane is basically a greenhouse gas which is emitted from the paddy fields. Okay, so that is environmental, that is one of the environmental concerns. Other than that, they require a lot amount of water. Okay, so that is why they are not saying that you should not go for the flooding method, and you can go for the direct seeding method if at all you are actually cultivating the paddy crop. Okay, so other than that, they are giving financial incentives that you should go for the other crops like you can say pulses, etc., but not paddy. Express concerns about the paddy's long-term sustainability due to the water and the environmental issues. The current BT cotton varieties are ineffective against the PBW. When we are talking about the BT cotton, it was actually bought to fight the pink bollworm issue. Okay. Okay. Earlierly, when we have seen this particular issue in India, then they have gone for the BT cotton. Now, BT cotton was genetically modified in such a way that they are resistant to the pink bollworm. But the thing is, after you can say obviously these viruses etc. are also going for the you can say changes. Okay, so now because of such changes etc. now this particular BT cotton is not very effective against the pink bollworm. Okay. Now we can move further to the next article, that is basically after Indore emerges winner 7th time clean energy or sorry clean city rankings to have golden city category. Now when we talk about the Swachh Bharat and the cleanliness etc. so Indore is the city which has secured the place of the cleanest city in India for the 7th time. Now the problem is the other cities are that when you were in school there was this one kid which used to come which used to top the class, and everyone realized why bother working hard because he will be the one who will be securing the first position. So because of such thing, this phenomena is there with respect to the governments as well. When they know that Indore will be the one which will be securing the top place, then why bother even going for the making such effort, or why bother using any kind of financial you can say go for the expenditure on the cleanliness. Now because of this thing, what government has came up with that they will be creating a golden cities category. Now the city which has secured first position for the 3 times, okay, consecutive 3 times, then that particular city will be moved to the golden city category. Okay, so they will have a different category itself, and then the competition will be open for the other categories. Okay, so now there are chances that Indore will be moved to the that particular category, and because of which the other you can say cities will have a chance to perform better. Okay, so that is there. So this is all which is given in this particular article. You can go through this particular you can say article if you want, otherwise whatever information was there which we have seen. Now this was the time when we are talking about this particular ranking. So Surat has shared the position this time. Okay, so Indore and Surat are the places which are sharing the position. Here you can say somewhere over here it is written competition for the cleanest city would exclude the golden cities, and the winner of the general competition would be added to the club next year. While Indore has won over the all overall cleanest city award for the 7th year, this year it shared the top spot with Surat. Okay, so Surat is also having been introduced in that particular category. That is basically Surat has spotted the first rank this time as well. Okay, now Indore will be shifted to the golden cities category whenever this category was built, and what you can say all the you can say terms and condition will be decided. Okay, so when we talk about this ranking, the ranking was launched in 2016. Different categories are there like large cities, small cities, Ganga towns and cantonment boards etc. The top rank holders for the 3 consecutive years will be included in the golden city category. I hope that is clear. Now we can move to the next part, that is talking about what is OpenAI's. You know that we have ChatGPT that has been made by OpenAI, and OpenAI's O1 they are coming with the new AI model. Okay, and now why this model is different, all these things, how it is working, that is not important for us. Why it is different, which we will be talking. Okay, so here you can say new OpenAI O1 is the first in the you can say first planned in the series of reasoning models that will be having designed to solve more complex tasks. Now till now whatever we are doing is that when you are giving a prompt to the ChatGPT will be responding to you. Okay, now they are going for the more and more you can say logical reasoning based tasks, more and more complex tasks. Okay, now if you are a PhD candidate and then you want to have some kind of conversation with the AI, then they will be able to do that. Okay, so they will be thinking like a graduate. Okay, so here you can say solve more complex tasks and problems in the science, coding, maths. Okay, Now this is a secretive project Strawberry. Okay, so this particular open AI company is there, and then they have this project Strawberry now, which is expecting to feature an autonomous internet research and the dramatically improve the AI reasoning capacities. Okay, here you can say it is designed to think more carefully about the queries before answering. So when we are talking about humans what they do, that before answering they will think about it and then answer. Right now if you go to chat GPT, they will be answering on the basis of your prompt which is been given. Let's say you have given one article and then you have said that you have to paraphrase it, so it will immediately start doing it. Okay, but this time they will be going for the, first there will be a process of thinking and then it will go for that. Okay, so it is designed to think more carefully about the queries before answering, like how humans used to do. Okay, now it is trained, or you can say organization has trained the model to learn how to approach the problem from different perspective, check its output and learn from its mistake. Okay, so that is there. It is yet to be equipped with the more features such as browsing the web, managing the files, etc. So that will be an update in the next model. Here they have said that the next update of this model is expected to perform similar to a PhD student. Okay, to on the challenging benchmark task in the physics, chemistry and biology. Till now they will be working in these three areas. Okay, and in the next model you will be seeing that this particular you can say AI tool will be working as a PhD student. Okay, then how can it impact the job? So obviously here it will impact the job in certain areas. When we are talking about the coding sector, data analysis, they will impact the job. Here you can say since the new model can solve more complex problem, it may impact the jobs that include tasks such as software development, data analysis, coding, mathematical modeling, etc. Okay, so IT, finance and engineering firms are the one which might be at the risk until unless you are going for the upgrading yourself. Okay, now there can be an assistant in the fields like physics, chemistry, maths, biology, healthcare, etc. if this particular tool is capitalized. Okay, so this is about the OpenAI O1. This is the new model which they are trying. Moving further, what is helium and why it is used in the rockets? Okay, now when we talk about rockets, you know that there are certain fuels which are there, and as these fuels are being utilized, there is a, you can say, vacuum, or there is something, a space which is created, and that space has to be filled by another, you can say, component, so that the pressure is intact in the cabinet. Okay, now that particular void is being filled by the helium. Helium is basically second when we talk about the periodic table: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium. So hydrogen, after that there will be helium. So helium is having the second position in the you can say periodic table. So the atomic number, that is basically 2. Okay, so second thing is, this is the second lightest, okay, you can say gas, or you can say element. This is the second lightest element, because after hydrogen it is helium, that is when we talk about the size, etc. So this is the second lightest. Okay, so first is your hydrogen. Okay, or you can say simply write hydrogen. That is why if they are using it in the cabinet, that will be, having lesser weight. So when we talk about the sending any kind of spacecraft in you can say in the space, then it means that we try to optimize the weight as well. So that is why they are using helium. Now let's see why this particular issue was in news. Whenever there is a helium leak, okay, so because of which the engine might not work properly, because if helium leak is there, that helium will not be able to, you can say, check the pressure in that particular cabinet, fuel cabinet. So that is why that is a concern, and because of which what happens is that the you can say space missions, etc. has been delayed. When we talk about the, you can say, recently there was this private space walk by the SpaceX, and then there was some associates were also involved in that. So in that particular case, they was supposed to launch the vehicle, and then they realized that there was a helium leak, and because of which that you can say the process got delayed. Okay, that is why helium becomes important, and because of which also this was in news. Here you can say two NASA astronauts aboard Boeing's Starliner will stay in the International Space Station for months because of the faulty propulsion system when problem including helium leaks was there. Now that is the impact which they have. They have gone to the space and then they realized that there was this helium leak, and because of which they have to stay there till that problem was fixed. Okay, so that is one thing. After that, when we talk about this Polaris Dawn mission, which I was talking about, the two person has to go for the spacewalk. So that particular mission was also delayed because of the helium issues. Okay. Now ISRO's Chandrayaan 2 and ESA's Ariane 5 was also delayed because of this particular issue. Okay. Now why do spacecraft and the rockets are using the helium then? Okay, because helium is an inert gas. So when you have to, let's say this is the component of the, you can say, the chamber of the fuel, and whatever amount of fuel, let's say this was the fuel which has been there, and they have used this much amount. Okay, now this particular place has to be filled with something, then they have used the helium over here. Why helium? Because helium is an inert gas, it will not react with anything. So when helium is going into this particular chamber, it will not react with the fuel. Okay, so that is why it becomes safe. So that is one thing, helium is inert, it does not react with the other components or the combust which is there inside the, you can say, chamber. Okay, so that is there. Atomic number is 2 and it is the second lightest element. Rocket need to achieve specific speed and altitude to maintain its orbit. The heavier rocket require more energy, and that is why we have to make sure that we do not add extra load over there. That is why we are using helium. Okay, here you can see helium has a very low boiling point as well, minus 268.9 degrees Celsius. Okay, so this is minus 268.9 degrees Celsius. That is the boiling point of helium that allows it to remain a gas even at a super cold environment. Okay, since it has to be filled in this particular chamber as a gas, and that is why in that particular temperature, in the super cool climate as well, it will be remaining a, you can say, gas. Okay, now how is helium used in the spacecraft? As I told you, pressure has to be checked, and wherein whenever the fuel is getting consumed, in place of that fuel helium will be there. So this is how it is used in the spacecraft. Is it prone to leak? Yes, because the atomic size is small, it is very small or light gas, and that is why even a small gap in the wall might lead to the, you can say, helium leak. Okay, so that is why it is needed that in the spacecraft etc. they try to come up with a better technology wherein the walls etc. do not allow the helium leakages. Okay. Now we can move further to the next one, that is about Houthi mission missile lands in the central Israel. Okay, you know that 7th October Hamas attack, 2023 Hamas attack on Israel. This was the first time then their Iron Dome did not work, or you can say Iron Dome was actually penetrated. Okay, and after that Houthis missile for the first time has landed in the Israel's land. So that is one concern with respect to the Israel security. Okay, so here you can say the Israeli military confirmed that the interceptors from the Iron Dome and the aero defense systems were deployed, but it said that not yet determined whether the interceptor was successful or not. The military is investigating into it. So this is the second time Iron Dome has failed, okay, for Israel. So these are the concerns. Houthis has attacked. Now where Houthis are prominent? Houthis are a rebel group from the Yemen. Okay, when we talk about Yemen here, these are the areas, okay, where Houthis are quite prominent. Okay, and you know that with the Hamas issues etc., Israel Hamas issues, they have said that they will be having problems in the Red Sea. They will not let any kind of communication, or you can say any kind of transportation happen from the Red Sea area. That was the issue back then. Okay, so in this particular area the issues of piracy, attacking the various shipments etc. was there at that point of time. That was created by Houthis. Now why Houthis are doing something in Israel? Israel is at the end of the Red Sea. Okay, so that is not having any kind of boundary or any kind of similar interest. Why? Because Houthis are helping, or you can say they are supporting the cause of Hamas. Okay, so that is there. Houthis are basically backed by, you can say, Iran. Okay, so Houthis rebel are basically backed by Iran. So that is something which is there. You should know where Houthis are located, from where they get the support, and why they are attacking Israel. Okay, now moving further to the next article, for your own read, there is this article, that is Port Blair and its historical connection to the Chola conquest of Sri Vijaya. We have talked about Chola conquest of Sri Vijaya etc. If you want, if you have this interest in the history, you can go through this particular article. Okay, Moving further, another article is there, behind Typhoon Yagi becoming the most powerful storm in the Asia this year. Okay. Now, when we talk about the tropical cyclones, there are various names like Willy Willy's, Hurricane, Typhoon, all these names are there of the tropical cyclone. So, this is one of the tropical cyclone which is there. So, Typhoon Yagi. So, please remember the name, otherwise you can go through this article as well. Okay. So, that is all about today's discussion. For your practice, there is this question: who headed the high level committee on the One Nation One Poll in India? Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, Ramnath Kovind and N. Chandrababu Naidu. Okay. So, you can attempt this question, answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave, and if you have not you can say subscribe the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.